Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and I'm going to go right into the spoiler breakdown of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. This will be spoiler filled with stuff that I think happened, or reasons that I think things happened in the movie, what to expect after this movie's over, going into the franchise and stuff like that. But first off, I just want to say I really love the movie. You have a better appreciation for it, for one, if you watch it in IMAX. It's just so much more you're able to see because of the format, and also if you kind of know why they're doing this. So hopefully we can go into a discussion, or I will, because I'm by myself, into a discussion on why I think the things happened in the movie, and maybe this will give you a clearer idea of it wasn't so bad, and why they had to pack it all in, because it really is, 3 movies in one. Okay, so Dawn of Justice pretty much is the sequel to Man of Steel, and it's a sequel because it follows right along with the path of destruction from Superman. You kind of start the movie out from Bruce Wayne's perspective of the entire city around him, where Wayne Enterprise, a building of Wayne Enterprises is at, and some of his friends and workers and stuff like that dies. Like thousands of people, I'm sure, dies. So right then and there, you've got Batman. That was his tipping point. A lot of things have happened to Batman in his lifetime. So we'll go ahead and just discuss Batman while we're at it, and we'll bounce all around. This is like in no particular order, because I'm assuming you've already seen the movie, so I don't have to go through there and spoon feed you everything in order. We're just going to try to figure out what's going on. So, we'll follow Batman, In the beginning, it shows his parents, which are played by some of the people in The Walking Dead. I don't know if you caught that, but Maggie and Negan are his parents, and the way they die, is pretty cool. With the gun being up underneath the pearls and all that junk, but we've seen that a million times. But they kind of had to relay that in this movie, and it's because, that was his first teetering point to change his ways, sort of, and to focus and to become Batman. That was the thing that made him change. And then we go to, we see Wayne Manor at some point. It's destroyed. That was another tipping point for him. The Robin issue was another tipping point for him. And then, Superman coming along and destroying his place and the people that he knows and likes and cares about. That was the ultimate tipping point for him. And that's why his aggression, he's not really thinking things through very well. Even though he's the world's greatest detective, he's just clouded with anger. And it really shows in this movie. But let's go back to Wayne Manor. And we notice that that's destroyed, and that he's actually living in this glass house by a lake now. Ben Affleck is going to be in 3 standalone Batman films that supposedly he's going to direct. I'm thinking that the first 2 may be prequels or before this film, Dawn of Justice, and then the third one will be after this movie, like him maybe working with Wonder Woman and gathering maybe some of the metahumans or superheroes to help with the Justice League and stuff. Or they just may save that for Justice League and do 3 standalone movies. But I don't know when that timeline's going to happen, but I'm assuming a lot has happened. He's been Batman for over 20 years. So Wayne Manor. I think, my personal opinion, I think the Joker destroyed it. He came and ambushed it, burned it down to the ground. Batman, this is another tipping point for him. He had to kill the Joker. And killing the Joker is number 4 on the tipping point scale there for him. And Robin, if Suicide Squad is before this, if Suicide Squad and this is a younger Joker, that would be believable, wondering where the timeline of Suicide Squad takes place. That's important for me to wonder if Jason Todd, which is the second Robin, if Jason Todd is in fact the Joker in Suicide Squad. That's a possibility. That's maybe why he's got ha 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 written on Robin's suit. Maybe the real Joker took Robin and manipulated him, turned him into kind of like another Joker, brainwashed him, or he killed him, and then Batman retaliated and killed the Joker in return because it was something he had to do, that he was forced into doing by the Joker, because that's like the ultimate thing at that time, was to have the Joker, or have Batman kill the Joker. That was his ultimate, ha ha, the joke's on you, you killed me. That could be that, or ha ha, the joke's on you, I just turned your buddy Robin into a little minion of mine. Batman retaliated and killed him. Anyway, you get the idea. There's something going on there. I'm interested to see at what time frame the Suicide Squad thing is taking place, because that'll answer a lot of stuff in itself there, because Batman does have a little cameo in Suicide Squad, and of course so does the Joker or Jason Todd, whoever. So I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, but that's kind of been out there in the know for a while now. So, and another cool thing about Batman, you see these tipping points, his depression. He's drinking a lot of alcohol. There was alcohol in his room. There was a woman there. Whenever he wants him a piece, he just goes and gets him a piece, and that's all it is. There's no connection until he goes to Lex Luthor's house, where he's invited, but it's not Lex Luthor, it's his son, which is Alexander Luthor, which is Lex is in there too. So I don't know what they're going with here. Maybe Junior or whatever. But anyway, he sees Wonder Woman there, and I think that's the first time his eyebrows kind of raised up, that he's just not looking at women as a pleasure device anymore. He's actually interested in this girl, and of course she steals the thing and all that, which has conveniently Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman in there. Let's see, where do I want to talk about now? I guess I'll go ahead in there. Wonder Woman, she's just there sort of for the Doomsday thing, because that she has to be, I think, present for that. She's a big player in that, if they were going to do this in this movie, so she has to be there for that. And also the 100-year-old picture, I think that's going to be a part in the Wonder Woman standalone film, that picture, because there's some big actors in that photo, in that black and white photo. And also to shoe in and to showcase the metahumans, which are conveniently labeled and given emblems already. You got Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But, you see Flash. I think that's fine how they showcased him. I think he'll probably end up being a good Flash. Aquaman looked a little goofy in the boat, but hey, he's got that supersonic speed just like Superman does on land, in the water. So it was cool to kind of see that. And in Cyborg, I think that's the Mother Cube. I think that's what that's called, if my memory serves me correct. It does its job, and you kind of see that happen there by his father. I think that's who that was, the doctor. And he's I think Cyborg's like an ex-football player and all this stuff. And he's trying to bring him back, and that Mother Cube does that. So that's what that is. So seeing that stuff, I understand why they had to do it. I mean, they're trying to pack in a lot, and also on packing in a lot, I said I was going to be all over the place, so here it is. This movie packs in so much, because if it doesn't, it's going to be another 10 years. Like, if they played this out, and you're looking at, every 2 years, a movie coming out, which could have been 2 or 3 of them in this one, to get to a point to where we all want them to kind of get to with the Justice League, and to tell this story, which can go on for a really long time, even when Justice League is founded. They had to do it like this, and this is a non-conventional movie. It was going to be a non-conventional movie from the beginning, and it is. It's just something that we're not used to, because Marvel's perfected the movie, the superhero movie thing. They have a recipe. They've been doing it for a long time, and we're used to that recipe. So when we see something outside of our comfort zone, we kind of, we'll rag on it, and that's kind of, I feel like, what's happening with this movie, that people aren't understanding that this is really not a movie. This is like a centerpiece to a bigger puzzle. And once the bigger puzzle is finished, we'll look back on this movie and go, okay, I see, it makes perfect sense. Like 5 years from now, 6, 7, 8 years from now, we'll look back on it, and there'll be clues from that movie that are happening 6 years from now. And then we'll understand why it was made the way it was. And it's just the way it is. I knew that going into it, that was probably how it was going to be, and that's exactly how it was. And also with Batman, he's trying to not be Batman anymore. He doesn't want to dress up and do this anymore. And then Superman is the last straw on the camel's back, I guess, and it breaks. He's ready to take him on and kill him for what's happening, and he feels like he's an alien. He's just going to cause more harm than good. Totally get all that. I mean, I'm my comfort level is fine with it. I'm a Batman person. I like Superman, but Batman's really where my heart is at, and I think Ben Affleck did the best Batman ever on screen. I have problems with the Batman, though. I think in some of the fight scenes, especially the dream sequence whenever he's in the future, and that's an actual thing of the future, by the way. I'll go ahead and talk about that, too. Those little flying things probably has something to do with either working with Superman, because he's kind of working with Darkseid. Look that up. I don't have time to go into it because I have 19 minutes left. But, that's a real thing. He thought he was going to get some kryptonite. Come to find out it's just a green light in there. They sabotaged him, set him up. Superman guys or police force or whatever kind of almost captures Batman the way it looks, and he wakes up. But during the fight scenes and that, it was a little weak, even though it was big. Like if you watch real close, like when Batman's swinging and he's making contact, he's not making contact. It's kind of obvious. Like his arms and fists are moving a lot slower than what they should be, based on the impact of the stunt people. Like, they get hit a lot harder than what they actually get hit. And I don't know if that's because he chose not to speed up the shots there, while the fist is swinging, speed that up and then slow it down on impact and then have the reaction of the stunt people. But I noticed a lot of that in Ben Affleck's fight scenes as Batman, that the hits, like if you watch real close, they look like they don't connect, and they're not that powerful based on the reaction that you get from it. So I ding it on that, even though I think this is the best portrayal of Batman on screen that we've ever seen before. It's what I've always wanted my whole life of knowing Batman in the comics. This is the exact Batman I've always wanted. So kudos for that, and I look forward so hard to Ben's Batman standalones and him directing that too. I mean, it's going to be great, even though it's bumming him out hardcore that the critics don't like this. And anyway, since we're talking about the dream sequence, Flash comes back to visit him. That's Flash in armor. He can time travel like that with that special suit that he had on. He's from the future. He's going back to say, hey, Lois is the link. Lois is what's keeping Superman's sanity. And it shows that. It goes in great deal, keeps showing that and showing that. And also, Jimmy Olsen, he dies in the beginning whenever they're in the desert. He's the cameraman that gets killed. That's supposed to be this big shock thing because that was originally supposed to be Jesse Eisenberg. But he got picked up for Luthor instead, and they put somebody else in Jimmy Olsen's spot, and that's who it was that died in the beginning. They killed him off, which I don't care either way. But that's what that is, if you wanted to know. But yeah, Flash tells him, Lois is the key. Lois is the key. Like I said, it keeps Superman's sanity, keeps him fighting for the humans. Something happens, and you see that in the dream sequence where Superman's like, you killed Lois. Or maybe he was in charge of watching after her, and something happened to her, but Superman blames him. And that's where they're at in the actual future, which I think they can change that. So I think that's Flash coming back to let him know. And he's kind of joking around, too, like, I'm always too soon, And I liked that. That wasn't bad. But since we're continuing to talk about Batman, he stole, the kryptonite from LexCorp and weaponized it and used it against Superman, which I thought was great. And, given the spear, he was smart. I think that was very smart on Batman's part of planning it all out. And at the beginning, you got the little sonic waves that kind of sort of stunned Superman a little bit, then the machine guns. Those were all testing Superman out, and it kept progressing and getting worse what he was doing, because if those things didn't work, he don't know. So those are kind of stunning things, and him watching Superman's reaction over these tools, that's just going in his own personal catalog on what Superman can take and what he can take and what he can't take. But we know that ends on the bottom level, I guess, or something. He's about to kill her, and he talks about Martha. And I've never, for whatever reason, put those two and two together, that they're both named Martha. So I thought that was pretty clever, and I'm like, no kidding, duh. And I thought that was a good thing. That's why they showed in the beginning his parents getting killed, to reminisce about that to you, is to kind of help show the impact of him saying Martha again and to get you to go, oh yeah, that's fresh on your mind because you saw it in the beginning. So I'm fine with all of that. That's great. And he throws the spear down. What I don't get is later on when Lois picks up the spear and throws it in the water just to turn right back around and go get it again. So I thought that was stupid about why is she even, I don't know. I just thought that was stupid. But how they even got to fight anyway, Superman feels like that kind of Batman's being a little reckless because he's popping up in the papers all the time and he's kind of just wanting him for whatever reason to go away. That was a little oddish. But also want to bring up that you may think, oh, Batman's killing people and all this stuff. Well, Zack Snyder explained that he's killing by proximity, which Batman's done in all movies. This one's just a little bit more aggressive. I'm fine with that, too. I thought it was really awesome how Batman gets stabbed, and he takes a knife out and stabs a guy in the exact same spot he got stabbed in. So I thought that was awesome. I caught that right away. I was like, that's freaking awesome. It's like, oh, you got me there? Well, I'll get you back there, too. And then some of the road scenes, whenever he shoots the car and kind of drives through it. Well, he shot the car, he didn't shoot the guy. And they're in the dream sequence now. He did snap somebody's neck and shoot people there. But in the now time, whenever, he's Batman, kind of supposed to not be doing it, he's kind of not doing it directly. He's just kind of doing it by proximity. And another thing, since we mentioned Lex earlier, Lex Luthor, I didn't like Jesse Eisenberg playing him at all. I just didn't get the whole jerky thing. But I guess that's part of him being young and kind of inexperienced in what he's doing because his dad kind of orphaned him, sort of. Whatever happened with that, which may tell in some other things possibly. So they might can go back and right that wrong by having Daddy Luthor or something. I don't know. But the jerkiness and all that mess, I don't know. He was just an inexperienced kind of child. Maybe that was by design. We don't know. Like I said, 5 to 10 years down the road, we'll look back and go, that movie was not that bad. And it's not the first time we've done this with movies, too. So I think we're really hitting them hard. And they kind of don't need to be because this movie finishes itself 10 years down the road. So that's why I think it's super risky. But anyway, Lex Luthor, he goes and breaks him by cutting fingerprints off. You think they would have some kind of blood sample reader, vein reader or something being the alien tech, but whatever that lets him in there, the regeneration, he happens to have Zod with him. That's all. That was all fast, and it had to be to get to Doomsday, and, you get Doomsday. Whatever. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier with Aquaman, James Wan will be directing that movie, and he's already come out and said, hey, Aquaman has always been perceived as kind of a pussy and kind of wussy-like, and that's not going to be the case this time, and he's going into it having fun like he always has fun. Even in the horror movies, he has fun. It's got that humor to it, and he's bringing that into Aquaman. So I am very excited to see James Wan Aquaman for sure. So now the lingering question, the Doomsday fight, we'll get to that. Wonder Woman, I thought, she's going to do a great job. I think she looks the part. Get her some more weight on her, get her a little bit more of athletic build, which she'll get throughout playing this character. She'll just build more muscle and more tone, but not too much, but more athletic, I think, and she would look great. But anyway, we get to the, he saves her out of the water, gets the spear, and he's willing to, again, she's that link to help him, get through to realize humanity. And he's just, I don't know if he's like willing to just want to give it up or if he's just kind of like, this is what I got to do to save, or like a mixture of all of it, because I think he was really fed up when the building blew up, from the wheelchair bomb. Granny's piss tea was pretty awesome. But, so he kills himself. Doomsday kills him. They got him wrapped up in the his cape and stuff like that, because I was a big reader of that comics. They have his funeral, and we see the caskets in black with a silver S on it. So you got to be asking yourself, is he really dead? What's happening? Well, if you haven't read the comics, sort of, he's not really dead. And, we know that there's no body in Arlington like the movie had, that Clark Kent there at home in the pine box, that's him. Well, Lois kind of gets over him and throws the dirt over on top of the wooden casket, right? Well, Batman at that time, he's like, hey, we got to, form this Justice League. We got to get people together. And I think that's a big thing to say because he realizes that it took three of them, one of them being Superman, supposed to be this godly-like thing, and another one being Wonder Woman that's a lot stronger than Batman even, because he realized that. Because in the scene, I thought it was pretty cool when they're fighting Doomsday. There's a period where you see Batman just kind of standing there observing, wondering where his part could be. And he was trying to find it, and he found it. I think he shot the kryptonite gas into Doomsday or something like that happened. But he was struggling trying to find his spot and his timing. And he knows, now that Superman's dead, that they got to do something. And he also knows from the warning from the future that stuff's coming. Something else is going to happen. So they got to get on the ball with joining these people together. And he's asking for Wonder Woman's help. So he does that. That kind of plays into, what the Justice League will be. Of course, or starting at is Batman to lead that up. And that's by design, too, because Zack Snyder said he wanted Batman to be the one leading it through. But anyway, she throws the sand or the dirt on top, and it levitates up a little bit. That's actually a characteristic of something that happens right before Superman kind of takes off, or anybody in a superhero state is about to do something with energy or something. A little bit of that stuff will rise. I don't know the specific term for it, but it'll float and hover up a little bit. And then what that means is he's in a sleep stage and his body's very, very, very super weak, like close to death, but he's regenerating himself. In the comics, this is where somebody takes his body to the Fortress of Solitude, which kind of doesn't exist, so they'll have to do something with that. And he takes solar energy to heal himself. We know that by that nuclear blast that he healed himself in like 2 minutes because he was so close to the sun. So, in the comics, Superman actually goes for a period of time, hibernates inside this regeneration thing, which is a super bright white light, and it kind of regenerates his body and brings him back. He comes back in his black suit, long black hair, and the silver S. So, the black suit, black casket that was in this movie, the silver S from the casket, the silver S on his chest. That could be a thing later. And also there's like 4 or 5 people, I think 4 people that's super men that step up to try to take his place that wears his emblem, like Superboy, Steel. Steel's the only one that doesn't call himself like Superman or something like that. So Superman comes back because he's been gone for so long and been dead. He has to reconvince everyone that, hey, I'm actually Superman. Because in the comics, nobody knew that like he was gone healing himself. He didn't know, He just came back. So that's what you got to look forward to with the death of Superman here. He will return, so this is not a big thing. It's not a shock to anybody either. Just if you haven't read the comics, there you go. There's that explained. And that's kind of, where we ended, I'll say. I look forward to the Suicide Squad. I really look forward to the standalone Batmans. Wonder Woman, I'm excited to see that, but not as much as the standalone Batman, for sure. One thing that they have to promise everybody, like Zack Snyder said he did this for the fans and all that stuff, he's not doing it for the critics. That is very evident in that is for sure, because all his positives are coming from the fans. So that was a good call, Zack, on reaching out to them, the reason why you did it. But they can never do this again. This is a once and done. Like, blow your wad, make it not make sense to your average Joe or even your critic, obviously. Make it look like a kindergartner edited this thing out, but definitely you can never do this again. I understand why you did it this time, and it was to get everything, to get the ball rolling the way it should, but you just can't ever do it this style, this thing again, ever. This is once and done. Remember that. So some of the real big pluses for me was the tone of this film. The way it was shot was awesome. The fight scenes were awesome. The seriousness of it was awesome because everybody's on their last leg in this movie. This was meant to be that way. This is meant to carry that tone. I look forward to Justice League type stuff whenever you actually get a little humor in there. You get a little banter back and forth between, Superman and Batman going back and forth. Batman's serious. Superman may say something like, hey, lighten up, can't you take a joke or whatever. I'm looking forward to stuff like that. But right now, totally understand why everybody's just fed up with everything. I mean, it's just this boiling point. And then that's how they were able to say they're going to fight, is you had to have a boiling point. And that's what this entire movie was a big boiling point. So there's no humor, there's no nothing there. It's all dark and serious. I liked that. So, but the bad is, which is not really a bad, I just look forward to seeing a little bit more of the humor that goes on in this universe and from the comics. So that's some of the classic stuff. And the other, stuff I didn't like was the Batman fight scenes, the slow punch, the weak punch, and then the big, huge reaction. That didn't do anything for me there. I noticed that right away. And then the weak intro to Flash and all them other meta-humans or whatever. And, Wonder Woman was there just to showcase and say, here I am, a movie's coming, and to show you these people, and to show a photo, which is a teaser for the next movie. That was about her only purpose, and the Doomsday thing, too. So, but anyway, this has been, my kind of really speedy take. I hope you got anything from it. Probably not. I probably missed some stuff, but Darkseid's coming. That's what that whole thing was about. The Joker, I'm ready to see what the heck is going on for sure with it. It's either the real deal Joker in the past, or it's Jason Todd from Robin, the second Robin, which means Nightwing is somewhere, which is cool too. So look forward to all that mess. So make sure to tune in for next week. We're going to be breaking down Spring. It's a movie called Spring, and it's on Amazon On Demand. If you got Amazon Prime, you got Amazon On Demand, so watch that. If it's the first time you've ever listened to this podcast, basically what we do just about every week, if we can, is the week before we'll let you know a movie that we're going to watch the next week, and then we'll just do what I did right now and break it down together. But normally it's an odd movie, something that you've never seen before. So it'd be interesting to watch something that you're probably not accustomed to watching, a style of film or something like that, that you're not used to watching. And then, recap it all and see what we think about it, because there'll be two of us normally. Normally Sam's here too, but he's not. If you want to catch up, I think it was last week we watched Enter the Void, and that was on Netflix. Really super weird movie. It's like 2.5 hours. I forgot how long it is, but super weird and out there. It's one of those artsy style movies. But this next movie is Spring, and let me tell you the description of it, because I think there's some other movies out there that sort of like it. So let me tell you the description so you'll be able to distinguish it. So Spring is a 2014 film. Right now it's averaging like 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, but it's about a young man in a personal tailspin who flees the U.S. to Italy, where he sparks up a romance with a woman harboring a dark, primordial secret. Ooh. Now, I've watched it. What we normally do, by the way, is we'll recommend the film to each other every week, or every other week, I guess. So I recommended this one to Sam to watch, so he's going to watch it. You all should watch it, too. Join us next week, where we'll recap this film, break it down, and then he'll refer me to a film to watch, and you all as well. If you want to join the podcast, it's real easy. Just get up with me, Isaiah's Reviews 123 at gmail.com. You can email me if you want to, and we can exchange some Skype information, because that's how we normally do this when we're in a group setting. So if you want to be on here and talk about next week's movie, or a week after that, or whenever you listen to this, just shoot me an email, and I can tell you when we're going to record the next one, if you can make it or not, and pop right on in and tell us what you think about the movie that we're recommended for the week. But also, if you're watching this on, or listening to this on YouTube, comment below on your thoughts on Batman v Superman, because I'm curious on what people think after you hear a little bit more about maybe why it's so jumbled up and messed up. Bottom line, it was just, this is what has to happen, and I'm sorry. I know if you're a diehard Superman fan, it hurt you bad, because the Death and Return of Superman, that whole series, really brought people into comics for the first time, or back into it again from not being in it a long time. And this hurts. The whole Doomsday thing hurts a lot of people, and I realize that. But I'm more of a Batman guy, and I was totally fulfilled by this. So anyway, this has been Isaiah's Reviews. Hopefully not tearing apart too bad Dawn of Justice. Peace out.